Good morning. It's Friday and the end of another week of short devotionals for Black Rock Baptist Church and also Morristown Baptist Church. This morning we're going to focus on a little devotional entitled Happiness Comes from Harmony and Humility. Philippians chapter 2, verses 6, 7, and 8. It says, "Though he was God, he did not think equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. He humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross." Happiness comes from harmony, and harmony comes from humility. If we want to be a humble people, we need to learn to ask the question, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do in this situation? What would Jesus do for this person who is hurting? What would Jesus do at the office, on the golf course, in your marriage? Ask that question, what would Jesus do? And you'll always come up with a humble answer that builds harmony and happiness rather than difficulty, defeat, resentment. So what does it mean to act like Jesus? Well, these three verses in Philippians chapter 2 give us three examples here. First of all, it tells us, don't demand what we think we deserve in life. Verse 6 tells us, though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Do you realize how countercultural that is, to give up your right for something? Something that is rightfully yours, and give it up? Yes, we do have rights, but there's a better way to get your needs met than demanding your rights all the time. You can be tender without surrender, and you can be understanding without being demanding. Secondly, he tells us, look for ways that you can serve. Verse 7. Instead, he gave up his kingdom divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. If you want to be like Jesus, you're going to have to learn to serve. Serving is a habit that we can develop. It starts out not with the big things in life, but it starts out with the little things. God tests your humility every day in the little things of life. And then your humility is shown when the big things come up. Character is revealed in the great crises of life, but it's built in the day-to-day things of life. And then thirdly, do what's right, even when it's painful. Verse 8 tells us he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. This is what it means to act like Jesus. What did Jesus do even when he was in pain? He was understanding, not demanding. Not demanding what he deserved. He looked for ways to serve, and he was a servant in every situation. Jesus is the ultimate model of humility, and God gave him the greatest honor in the universe. God honors our humility too, when we follow Jesus' example. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. Join us again on Sunday for our Sunday morning sermon, and then next week for our short devotionals on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Until then, God bless, and let's continue to exchange prayers daily.